I'm Suzanne Murphy, and I am your color, chakra, aromatherapy, essence therapy, gemstone therapy, et cetera, expert. I've been immersed in this field for 26 years, and I have not only taught thousands of people, but I have also analyzed thousands of people, making me an expert in these different topics, because obviously I don't just do things, I monitor things. So that way I know everything is authentic and good and you know, the best. So I think I'm pretty qualified to teach this class. The topic is about aromatherapy. We called it Discover the Healing Benefits of Aromatherapy and Why Essential Oil Blends Have More Power. So we're going to be talking about essential oils and then the fact of a synergistic combination and why that's much more powerful. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of aromatherapy, because essential oils and aromatherapy does go back 4,000 years to the ancient Egyptians as well as the Native Americans, the Indian cultures. Aromatherapy has been used for millennia. Now, essential oils or aromatherapy is the aromatic aspect of a plant, a tree, a shrub, a herb, that is then through a process, usually steam distillation, where the oil is derived into its liquid essence, and it gives us the properties of that healing plant in a nutshell. Unlike other forms of nutrition, aromatherapy is very concentrated, so therefore we get that liquid gold or liquid essence of that plant source. And we know through our olfactory sense that essential oils have that stimulant via our sense of smell, but within 15 seconds of applying an oil to the body, it's absorbed into our blood. And our skin is our largest organ, and it connects in different areas of our body to our internal organs. So, you know, again, we can understand that applying an essential oil to our body is a very quick way to absorb oils. And our company talks about the topical application or the indirect application versus the oral application. And part of that is when it comes to aromatherapy, we do work externally. There is no need to work internally. I always tell everyone my own little, take on it is I certainly don't want to be putting pure oregano or thyme oil in my mouth, because that's pretty harsh and it's pretty strong. And if we know it's in our blood within that 12 to 15 seconds, sometimes I will even put essential oils on the soles of my feet away from my nose, because sometimes the medicinal smell is not as pleasant as when you're using like a rose oil or a neroli oil. So that's my preference. And we always recommend using essential oils with carriers, because what a lot of people don't understand is that a carrier oil allows the oil to be carried into the body, thus the name carrier oil, where when we put essential oils neat on our skin, the essential oil can evaporate before we actually even get it into our bloodstream. So we want to make sure that it's carried into our, into our body. And there are a lot of different ways to use essential oils, and I'm not going to go into that too much today. I can actually share with you, I just created another aromatherapy video. It's about 10-15 minutes long, and it should be available in the next few days online on YouTube. And that's where I go into the different ways that aromatherapy oils can be used. Now, what is an aromatherapy blend? Now, also, I can share with you, I've been trained by some key people around the world. I've been trained in part with a medical aromatherapist, another aromatherapist who was trained out of the Jade Institute, who was also an environmental lawyer. So I learned a lot about aromatherapy from her in regards to different things. And one of the things that Patricia taught me was that when we call a blend, an essential oil blend, a blend, it's because it has been blended with a carrier, versus a mix is pure oils that are combined together that constitutes a mix. But a blend has a carrier, a mix is pure oils that are mixed together. So this also tells you a bit about, you know, our company and how we work, because obviously it's very important that we're trying to teach people the proper etiquette of essential oils versus, you know, a lot of times I see people talking about blends, but they're really talking about a mix, and vice versa. Mixes need to be blended with a carrier, and mixes you can put into, for example, an aromatherapy diffuser, or if you're using, you know, essential oils in your dryer. The other day, I just put a couple drops of eucalyptus neat onto a face cloth and threw that in my dryer. So I had that eucalyptus smell on my clothing. So, you know, again, when we're talking about essential oils that are applied to the body, it's always going to be a blend. And today we're going to be talking about the synergistic qualities of therapeutic blends and what that constitutes. In regards to some of my aromatherapy experiences yesterday, because I want to show people how essential oils have such a huge impact on our body, mind, and soul instantly. And I love aromatherapy. I wear it like perfume daily, because to me, for one, the smell of aromatherapy is so delightful. If I go to a mall and walk by a store that uses synthetic oils, right away I react to that. And I remember many, many years ago, one of our Color Energy customers, you know, shared with me that she wanted to work with oils, but she thought she was allergic to them. And I went, well, what makes you say that you're allergic to oils? And she said, well, every time I'm around essential oils, I sneeze. And I went, you won't sneeze around our oils. And I kind of gave her a guarantee saying, you know, if you bought our aromatherapy oils, I know you're not going to be allergic to them. And she trusted me, and she bought quite a bit of aromatherapy. And sure enough, when she started using the aromatherapy oils, she had no sneezing. There was no contraindication, no reaction. And she just fell in love with aromatherapy because she had used another brand that wasn't authentic, wasn't pure. And there are a lot of synthetic oils that are out there. And again, with my video that is teaching about aromatherapy, I talk about how to recognize the purity of an oil. And we have 3 in-house aromatherapists, and we're aligned with some, you know, what I would consider world experts in the topics of aromatherapy. And so when looking for aromatherapy, there's a lot of ways to, you know, tell if an oil is integral, meaning it's high quality. And first and foremost, it's by the smell. And I always use peppermint as a good example of that, because if that peppermint smells like candy, it's probably been chemically enhanced, because again, we attach, you know, these sweet peppermint candies to what peppermint should smell like. And peppermint should smell like peppermint, but it shouldn't have that sweetness that often people recognize behind peppermint. And with essential oils, you shouldn't have that component where it smells like it's chemically enhanced to be more pleasing. Rather, it should be more subtle, like a fine wine. I get some people sometimes saying that, well, your oils aren't as pungent as some of the other oils that I've experienced. And, you know, again, it's like a fine wine. When you smell a fine wine, the odor of the wine is very subtle. It's not, you know, tart, or it's not pungent where it's overpowering. And aromatherapy should be that way as well, where each essential oil that you're using should have a nice smell to it, not a smell that, you know, is more fragrant. And again, you know, that's a key component to sometimes recognizing whether it's chemical grade or what they call commercial grade, because a lot of products that are out there, and I don't want to name names, but a lot of these stores that are in malls, when you walk by them, you smell their commercial grade aromatherapy oils that they've put into the candles or other products that they're making. Where in our office, we get a lot of people that when they enter our office, they can smell the delight of the essential oils, but it's not overpowering, but it smells delicious. And when it comes to our essential oils, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that it's unique, because we're the only company in the world that works synergistically with essential oils to the level that we do. We work very medically with our essential oils because obviously, especially when it comes to our therapeutic blends, there's a lot of magic behind our madness. We don't just, take oils that, are known to help, but we're synergistically looking at the frequency of the oil to ensure the authenticity of the vibration. Everything we do is based on color therapy because in our body's energy system, we have the different frequencies that we need to work with, because if we're, for example, using a blend that isn't conducive to, that area of the body, then it can be counterproductive. And one of the things that that happened many years ago is I had a client come visit me, and she brought in a whole bag of products that were helping her to her road to wellness. She had been in a car accident. She was struggling with her physicality. A lot of things were going on, and she had all these different creams and different products in this bag. And I don't like to be tainted with any knowledge. I want to do all my product testing pure, and because I use the biopulsar as my biofeedback device, I can see how every organ and gland responds to a product. So there was one product I pulled out of the bag, and I actually just laid it on her thymus gland, because our thymus gland, being our body's defense system, will react very quickly to any product. So I put the product on her chest, and all of a sudden I saw her adrenal glands skyrocketed into a state of hyperactivity. And afterwards, I asked her about this specific product and if it helped her. And the name of the product was called Sleep Blend. And I asked her if it was actually helping her sleep, because I saw her adrenals go up, and likewise her pineal gland reacted. And the pineal gland is our gland that dominates our sleep habits or sleep patterns. And because I saw the adrenals shoot up, I recognized that it was a product that was actually a stimulant rather than a sedative. And here it was a sleep blend. And she said it's interesting because she actually felt more alert when she used this product. And when I looked at the ingredients, it had vetiver in it. And in the science of color therapy, vetiver is a red stimulant. So no wonder we saw the adrenals react in a negative way, because again, the adrenals, going into overdrive wouldn't have helped that person sleep, but rather would have stimulated her as she experienced. So, to me, it's very important that we work synergistically with aromatherapy, so we're not adding oils that, can be counterproductive to what our intention is. And color energy, we do have an aromatherapy chart that is color-coded, upside down, that is color-coded, and it goes into all the different essential oils and the different colors they are and the different chakra centers that they stimulate. And there is a breakdown of the organs and gland association as well. And this is really important, because then if you're making a blend to help stimulate you, you have the whole list of essential oils that are going to help do that. And that's what we mean by synergistic. They're like-minded oils that have a similar intention of what they're intended to do. Okay. Now, of course, color energy, all our oils are therapeutic grade, and they're pure and clean, meaning they're untainted. We get lab tests on everything so we can prove the authenticity of the oil. And we work with a lot of smaller distilleries, because a lot of these larger distilleries may not have the care and control. And that's very important to us, that we're using suppliers that really care for their product. And because we work with the color coding, all our oils have the color on the label. So right away, when you know that you need a blue oil, and it really doesn't matter about the product sometimes, I cross use our products. So for example, this is for the hormones, stimulant. I can use this even though I don't necessarily want it for the properties of the hormonal, as a hormonal regulator, but maybe I want the properties of the essential oils that are in there that have that vibration. So similarly, I'll use our chakra blends for, situations that might relate more to a medical condition or an organ, But again, once you start understanding that organ connection, you know, the medical connection of the essential oils, then it's easy enough to work with the different oils. And the color coding system makes it super easy to do that. I also wrote down easy to use because, again, you know, everything's colorized, so you can use it on multiple levels with the color coded system. And all our oils are safe for topical application because once you're using a formula, especially the ones that are in roll-on, will always be cut with a carrier. And so again, they're safe for body application. You don't have to worry about cutting it with some carrier oil. You can use it right away. Now, I want to talk also, also we provide a lot of education, and I wanted to show you some of the things that we have so you can understand that when you buy essential oils from us, we give you a lot of support. So when you buy our displays of pure essential oils, we actually have an aromatherapy manual that we give you that literally contains, I think about 50 oils in there, if not more. And we break it down into a whole bunch of information from, you know, attributes of that oil to a bit of the history of the oil to properties, usages, how to use, and any contraindications or cautionary notes. So this is a manual that is really supportive when you use our single note essential oils. And a single note oil means it's one essential oil, not a blend, not a mix. We also have an aromatherapy guide. It's just a little panel brochure that teaches you a lot about the oils and, again, the color connection. So these are different tools that are available. And our different products, we have panel brochures, and I actually have some panel brochures right back here that you can see, you know, when you purchase our chakra blends, then you get information about the blends versus the therapy blends. Has its own panel brochure that breaks down every product, tells you the oils and the different healing properties and the ways to use essential oils. And I did want to just briefly touch on the different ways that we can use oils. We can apply aromatherapy oils directly to our wrist. We can apply it directly to the area that we want to. We could put it on the soles of our feet, especially the oils that don't smell so pretty. And because there's been some oils that I was a little bit less happy to use, but I knew their therapeutic quality, I put them on the soles of my feet so that way the smell wasn't close to my nose. But a lot of times I will actually put a little bit of essential oils under my nose. So this way I'm smelling that delightful scent of the aromatic oils. That to me is very pleasing. Now, we can also apply the different oils in different ways based on the therapeutic blend itself. So we'll cover that as we're talking about each oil. So now what I'm going to move into is talking about our different therapy blends. I'm going to go through the rainbow and I'm going to be talking about our different therapy blends and the different components that are in there and why this blend is really powerful. And I'm going to start with the Chi Energy. Now, the Chi Energy has oils of ylang ylang, sandalwood, juniper in them, which are all known to be uplifting. And in fact, oh, and there's a splash of orange in there, just so you know as well, and I'm going to explain that in a second. All these oils are known to be invigorating, all known to be energizing. Ylang ylang can also be euphoric in nature, so therefore it will be uplifting on that level. Sandalwood is also a very grounding oil, but that being said, when you're grounded, then you have more vitality because you're not all over the place. Juniper oil is purifying, and it's also a blood purifier, which is really important because often when our chi is weak, our blood is weak, and juniper oil is a really good blood purifier. So again, a phenomenal product to support you on many levels. And as I mentioned, some of our blends, there's different ways to use them based on the actual product itself. So as I mentioned, I can roll this on my wrist. I can roll it on my thymus for direct application into, you know, my immune system. But the chi energy, one of the things that I do with it is I roll it on the soles of my feet. And by doing that, I'm grounding myself. And this is why I love this product first thing in the morning, because it really charges me. And you can also roll it from the bottom of your spine to the nape of your neck where your cerebellum is. By doing that, and if it's a little bit tricky to do yourself, if you have a partner that can help you, actually rolling the chi energy on both sides of your spine where the fluid runs up your spine. So what you're doing is you're charging your whole spinal column with chi energy. And this is the intention of this product. And this is why we have a lot of red in it, but we put that little burst of orange in to pull the energy up the spine, because orange is very uplifting. So we want to pull that energy up the spine. So that's the chi energy. And I love it because of, again, the oils that are in there with the ylang ylang, the sandalwood, the juniper. I'm going to smell them as we go along here. It truly is just, you know, very invigorating, very uplifting, which is what we want from that chi energy. Now, for our orange blend, our original one is called Joy to the World. And in our orange blend, we have orange neroli as well as in it. Now, neroli is a very rare oil. It's a very expensive oil. So as you can imagine, using this, to me, it's a beautiful perfume, because a lot of perfumes, high-end perfumes, have neroli in it. So here, because we do put the neroli in there, it's a really lovely scent to wear as a body oil. But because we named it Joy to the World, because its intention is to bring joy and happiness. And, you know, again, the more you understand about color, personalities, and how the different, you know, color frequencies will charge you on different levels, orange out of all the colors is the best emotional stimulant. It's the power of now. It's living in the moment. So whenever you're using any blend that has an orange oil in it, and that could be orange, tangerine, neroli, which comes from the orange blossom tree. What oil did I miss? Orange, of course. And orange, there's bitter orange, sweet orange, blood orange. So there's different flavors of orange. So sometimes you may not know what orange we've put in there, because we'll just say orange, but we're using these different oranges to, again, support whatever the intention is. But because this is called Joy to the World, the intention is to bring you joy. So all those oils are known as that emotional, mood-enhancing, uplifting fragrance. So, and because of the neroli, I tell everyone it makes a beautiful body perfume. And because all our therapy blends are the same price, here you're getting rare oils that are in our different blends, and sometimes it makes the blend more expensive, but we charge the same price. So it definitely is worth the value. Now, because a lot of people didn't understand the concept behind Joy to the World, we came up with another one that we called anxiety release. Joy to the World can also help release anxiety, and the three main oils that are in Joy to the World are also in the anxiety release, which again is that orange, neroli, and bergamot. They're all in the same two therapy blends. However, with the anxiety release, we added a few other oils, nutmeg being one of them. And nutmeg, just so you know, it is awesome for uplifting as well as energizing and tonifying. So it has some other qualities in there, but again, a synergy's intention is to take like-minded oils and bind them together so they're even more powerful. Because if you use one essential oil, it's the power of one, meaning that oil and its, you know, its healing properties are what you're using. But now all of a sudden, if you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 oils, then what you're doing is you're creating even a stronger healing potential, because now you've got the synergy happening. There's a lot more of the different oils that have the similar properties in them to be a catalyst to assist you. And that's why, you know, for example, with the anxiety release and the joy to the world, it has a lot of that orange flavor in it, because that orange, again, is about the power of now and it's uplifting. And I remember I actually did a workshop for the Canadian Mental Health Association. And I think there was about 30, 40 people in the room. And when I asked people who were suffering from depression if they liked the color orange, not one hand went up. Not one hand went up. And here, again, it's that validation when people are feeling low, feeling depressed, they need that orange energy. And I always think about, you know, when you eat, you know, take a bite of an orange, you can't help but smile, because just taking that, that bite of that orange, it's so uplifting. It's just so refreshing on all levels. And that's what I think about when it comes to these different orange blends that we have. They're all uplifting. They're all natural antidepressants, whether it's called Joy to the World or anxiety release. My favorites is Digest and Detox. Many, many years ago, I suffered from lifelong issues of constipation, where my bowel movements were about every 3 to 5 days. And when I started using the Digest and Detox, it was one of the few products that I had ever used that had that immediate release. It's really supportive. And this is a blend that you would actually roll right on your stomach region for quicker reaction. But like any essential oil blend, it is absorbed into your bloodstream within that 12 to 15 seconds. So it's going to have that effect on you. But if you can put it on exactly the point area that is for the intention, then you can imagine it's faster reacting. And I'm just going to slide back to the Joy to the World and the anxiety release. For people who are suffering from anxiety or depression, anywhere close to, their sense of smell would be powerful. If they put it on their wrist, then they can smell their wrist during the day. And even to the pulse points, to the temples would be a good location, or the back of the head, because again, we want to get that, happiness, essence into the thoughts as quick as possible when it comes to depression or anxiety. So with the Digest and Detox, you want to roll it on your stomach region to support yourself in regards to any issues to do with the digestion. Now, the Digest and Detox has oils of rosemary, bergamot, as well as antifungal, and it will help to strengthen the digestive system. All of these oils, rosemary, bergamot, grapefruit, are clarifying, detoxifying. So they're all good for, again, supporting the digestive system. And because a lot of times people, when they have problems with the digestion, they could even have parasites. A lot of these oils are really good for parasitic activity. And parasites don't like the yellow vibration. They will run away from it. They'll hide, because it will actually kill them. So again, we want to use the components that will help the digestive system. This is a product I take with me when I travel, because when I travel, of course, sometimes we're not in the comfort of our own home or working environment, where, sometimes that can lead to constipation or digestive issues. So this is a product I always have in my toolkit for travel. And I actually travel on airplanes with essential oils. And I'll just jump ahead to the immune booster. This is one I always make sure when I take traveling with me, and I always put it under my nose so I don't smell anything that's on the plane, because I'm very smell sensitive and I don't like to smell scents on the plane, because there's different body odors. There's, odors coming from the toilet. And of course, when you're on a plane, there's a lot more, bacteria that's free floating in the air, because people are exhaling. And as you're inhaling, then you're inhaling the possibility of, their problems. So the immune booster, by protecting yourself and putting it at your nose, then of course, if you're doing any breathing in or inhaling, then those essential oils that are in the immune booster, which again are, or I shouldn't say again, but are antiviral, antibacterial, anti-contagious, it's all the oils in there that will prevent you from getting sick. Now, similar, we have two green blends. One you can see is a little bit lighter in the label than the other one. We have Muscle Magic and we have Peace and Harmony. Now, both of them have a lot of oils that are really good for the respiratory system, but I'm going to first talk about the Peace and Harmony. So the Peace and Harmony, we have the lime oil added as well as Rosalina to the eucalyptus and the pine. This aids the respiratory system, and I love the fact that we put a splash of lime oil in there because, again, that lime oil, you know, has the attributes of uplifting as well as refreshing, but it just gives that, you know, that vibrancy of the product, not to be as forest smelling, but it has that flavor of uplifting. So again, another delightful one. Because it has a lot of the oils that are good for the respiratory system, lathering it on your respiratory system is really good if you're just feeling a little bit congested. And of course, because it's in the green hue, it is just natural, relaxing. It takes you back to, you know, being nurtured or being in nature, which is also similar to the smell of the Muscle Magic, where you have that pine oil that gives you that, you know, feeling of being in the forest. So I love that aspect. But the oils that are in here are really good for muscle repair. I don't have my glasses on. I got to look at this sheet because it's bigger type. But so in the Muscle Magic, we have eucalyptus, which is one of the best oils for muscle aches and pains. But again, because it has a lot of medicinal oils in there that are good for the respiratory system, it's another one that's really nice to lather on the chest if you have any chest complaints. And these are oils that I will use at night when I'm just feeling a little bit more congested, because obviously, especially when you're in buildings where you have recycled air, where the windows might not be open, then you want to make sure that you're strengthening your respiratory system, because obviously you're going to be inhaling a lot of old air that can also have bacteria or viruses in it. Okay, now the blue oil, we have the happy hormones. This is a hormonal regulator, and it's not just for women, it's for both men and women. And one of the key essential oils that are in here are geranium. And geranium is known to support the hormones, but we have to understand that, again, there's a method to our madness, and I'm not always talking about the adrenal, the endocrine gland that's connected to it, but in this recipe, the geranium is known as a thyroid supporter. It's good for helping people lose weight, because when the thyroid is out of balance, then it's hard to gain or lose weight. And again, we want to make sure that the hormonal production is intact. So this way, if we're having anything along the lines of, temperature variables, because some people run hot and some people run cold. This has a lot to do with your thymus gland. So this will help to regulate your body temperature as well. Okay. And it also has chamomile in it, which is also very hormonal balancing and replenishing. No, you know, that's a really valuable question, because I remember early on in my career, I had a classroom where a mother and son joined in, and the son had his, the son was born without a thyroid. So if we use tools and different things that will help in regards to the replacement, because another thing that I learned with the biopulsar, if an organ is removed, there's still the energetic signature that is there. It exists. So, you know, what makes the difference is if we know that there's a dysfunction of an organ or an organ removed, that energetically we're still healing ourselves with the quality, you know, of that energetic value, then our body's not going to go into a situation of of stress because we're still bringing in the energetic qualities. And we have to recognize that our body organs work simultaneously together as networks. You know, as well, there's aspects of our brain that help to organize what's going on in our body. Our body has a wonderful, wonderful capability of repairing itself. It's just that often we get in the way of its repair. But if we can use nutrition, you know, as well as oils and essences and other things that can help on that level of keeping the energy strong and intact, then I don't think it matters if we have, you know, organs that are missing or organs that are problematic, because we're trying to get that resonating frequency in there for the balance. You know, I always think back early in, again, my career, especially with the biopulsar, because I was doing a lot of you know, research at the beginning, and I didn't always understand what I was seeing. But what I did notice was that when people had a missing organ, there was two ways I could see it. One, that area was gray and I could get no energy reading in that location because the organ was missing. Or I actually saw a vibrant green, meaning good health. So what was the difference between, you know, the same organ missing and, you know, the relationship to the energetic quality? There's a lot more that goes on behind the energetic quality or energetic levels in our body, and that's our relationship to aspects that relate to that organ. So for example, if we're grieving the loss of that organ, or the emotions, or the thought patterning, or that spiritual component, then we can see that absence in that organ. So it's just giving us an indication that we don't have strength and vitality because of something that's not integrated in us on a complete level. And you know, it is about relationships. And this is one of the reasons why I love aromatherapy, because if it brings us joy or happiness or strengthen an organ, or, you know, an aspect of ourselves that we can reconnect to, then we can support ourselves on so many levels. You know, and this is why we do what we do, because we have oils that we refer to as mood enhancing. And then of course, today I'm talking about the ones that are more therapeutic. The ones that are therapeutic are going after specific issues or symptoms, versus our mood blends are more to enhance moods. Again, when we're deficient of an energy, and we know it because we know that we have that emotional, mental, spiritual, or physical issue, then it's our job to then focus on the energetic quality that we need for self-repair. Okay. So moving forward with the different blends, the next one I want to talk about is the headache blend. This is probably our #1 seller in our therapeutic line. And you know, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people suffer from headaches. And because I work a lot on the biopulsar, I see that often there is a void of energy in the brain. And when there is a mix of energies in the brain, a high with a low, then that can cause conflict and cause a headache. Just as when the energy reading in the brain is low, that can also cause a headache or a migraine. And I can tell you, I have so many testimonials that I've been gathering over, you know, the past 15 to 20 years since we've been selling our therapeutic blends, about how this is the only product that has ever worked for people who suffer from migraines. And that makes me happy, because obviously to have a migraine, it's not a fun thing. And if we can give people some sort of you know, reprieve from having a headache or a migraine, then, you know, we're doing the work that we set out to do. Now, the headache blend has frankincense in it, and I wanted to talk about that oil because frankincense is one of the highest vibrational oils that are out there. And I always think about the Bible, because there's so much reference to different essences in the Bible. And in fact, frankincense and myrrh, as well as we believe golden turmeric, were some of the oils referred to in the Bible as a commodity. It was a trading commodity. Well, why would it have been a trading commodity? There had to have been a reason, and I think it's because the healing potential and power of these different oils. So the headache blend has frankincense in it, and also peppermint, which is a blue vibration, but peppermint has a very soothing quality behind it. And with the headache blend, this is one that you actually, I'll just demonstrate, you roll it around your hairline, all the way around, back and front, and stopping at the temples, just putting a little bit of extra emphasis on the temples, because that's a key point for reducing stress that happens in the brain. And by rolling it all around your head, the nape of the neck, it helps immediately to reduce any of the tensions that can be influencing it. And as I show you guys my biofeedback, right away, this had an increase in my brain frequency. So that was quite exciting to see that. Now the pain buster, in this one, we're using violet oils. And of course, one of the key oils is lavender as well as hyssop. And lavender, of course, is calming and soothing. And lavender is known as one of these full spectrum healers. It's good for so many, you know, issues. So the pain buster has that lavender, and hyssop is really good as a nerve tonic, and it helps with infections as well as tightness. And it does have the anti-infectious qualities in there. And so sometimes if I don't have my first aid handy, I will use the pain buster as a similar type of aromatherapy blend. They're both very versatile for you know, wounds and sores and you know, pain. About the energetic qualities of the oils, I can quickly tell you about that. So in the pain buster, we have as well the lavender, oh, and nioli. And nioli is an oil that's comes from the family of tea tree. And nioli helps to increase white blood cell count as well as the body's antibodies. And then it also has the eucalyptus, the frankincense, as well as Roman chamomile. So you can see a lot of good soothing oils that are in there. And first aid is great for open wounds. Okay, so a really nice oil because a lot of times when there's an open wound, there's a lot of bacteria. So you right away need the oils that are antibacterial, you know, infectious, things to right away reduce, anti-inflammatory, that's actually the word I was looking for, that are anti-inflammatory, to take that, like right away reduce that redness, because if you look at a sore or an open wound, it will often be, you know, could even be pussy, but red in nature, and that's that inflammation. So you want to reduce that. So it's got some really nice soothing oils in there. And the last therapeutic blend I'm going to talk about is the Skin Renew. And I want to share my own personal story with this, because when we go back 15, 20 years ago, we were actually buying our oils from a company called Ashbury's Aromatherapy. And Michael, he sold us, you know, our oils that we were using for our own mix and blends. And Michael was in the retirement age, and he was wanting to sell his company. And so I suggested to Nikolai that maybe he talked to Michael, and, you know, maybe that's something that Color Energy could do, is buy this company, because it had the therapeutic oils that we were buying. And Michael had about 5 therapeutic oils, and one of them was Skin Renew. And I had this blotch of rosacea right here on my face that actually protruded like a pimple, and it was so red. I actually had people commenting on it during my, you know, the few years that I had it, and it just sort of cropped up out of the blue, and it was on my face. I went to a skincare clinic. I bought a $100 bottle of cream that was supposed to help get rid of it. Nothing. And here was this, which, you know, a simple formula, not very expensive. And I just started rolling it, just as I'm showing you right now, right on that blemish. And within a couple days, I noticed the redness started to subside, and the actual bulb of the rosacea went down, and it went flush with my face. Within 1 week, it was totally gone. And I had it for about 2 years. So for me, this is a really nice product to, put on your face or anywhere you might have scar tissue. It's really good for scar repair. And the oils that we have in this are the rose oil, which again, talk about another high vibrational oil. Rose is one of the highest vibrational oils that are out there. So it's a really nice one. And with all our therapy blends, just so you know, if you just put your thumb underneath that roller ball, you can pop off the cap, and then you can add add the blend into your skincare products. I even add the therapy blends into my shampoos, my conditioners, my body wash. I do these things because a lot of our unscented products are unscented for the purpose that you can add the essential oils that you need for your body type. So, this was a big conversation that we had. Did we want to add essential oils? But because some people have dry skin, some people have oily skin, some people might have dandruff and might need essential oils that will support them on their hair care on that level, which, by the way, on our holistic aromatherapy chart, on the backside, there's a whole list of different face, body, and hair care issues that tell you the best oils. So this will help you tailor make a lot of your products to your energy needs of, like I said, your skin or your hair care needs. And because our, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and all our products are unscented, you can scent them with whatever oils you want for your needs, or, even just as a mood enhancer. But the Skin Renew is one of the ones I put a lot into different skincare products because, about a month ago, I was out on the lake in a boat, and silly me didn't have proper coverage, and of course I got a little bit of a sunburn. So I mixed this with my lavender oil and applied it to my skin, because lavender oil is great for burns. And with the Skin Renew, having all the oils that are nourishing to the skin, because rose is such a beautiful oil for skin nourishment. Plus we have carrot seed, which is a skin tonic, and it tightens the skin as well. It helps with cell growth. So again, the combination of oils that are in the Skin Renew are for all skin types. And we always use an organic jojoba oil as the carrier in our products, because jojoba oil is the ultimate carrier oil that is best for all skin types, because it replicates the natural body skin oil. So it is one of the best oils for that. Now we carry a lot of different carriers, but again, for all our therapeutic blends, we use jojoba. And now you share with you some testimonials, because to me, testimonials are really important to have people understand the versatility of our product. But this is from Cassandra in Ontario, where she said, some other oils that I used, I had to use twice as much to get the same results, which goes to the quality of our oils, because more is not always best when it comes to aromatherapy. Just a couple drops will do its job. So you don't need to have a lot of oils. If you're using a lot of oils to get the job done, then that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good quality. And the next one was from Christy in Massachusetts, who said, your line of aromatherapy is helpful because it is chakra related. And, for her, that was really important to have that chakra connection to the essential oils. Now, this is a longer testimonial, but nonetheless, I wanted to share it with you. This is from Monica in BC here. I heard about your aromatherapy company through my aromatherapy teacher at Douglas College. She prized your products as being authentic and genuine, and she recommended them as being the best. I have bought some oils through her and love them too. I compare them with other brands on the market, and yours by far the best smelling. And she made a comment, since this is how at the moment in my aromatherapy course, I can judge the difference. So, taking this aromatherapy course, that was part of what she had to learn, was the depth and the spectrum of the oils, which is what she wrote about. And we actually sell our oils to a lot of aromatherapy schools. As well, we have a lot of people buying our essential oils in bulk to add to their own product line. So again, people wouldn't be buying our product if they didn't believe in our quality. Now, here's another testimonial from a woman by the name of Joanne, who had a friend by the name of Joanne who recommended our oils to her. And she said that she'll never go back to any other company because of our quality. And she also had another friend that raved about our oils. So she said learning about our product through her friends. And here was, I love your oils, and I was referred to you from Dr. Vivian. So thanks, Dr. Vivian. And here's another testimonial from Sandra that said, I just want to tell you that I can't keep my hands off the jasmine. It is incredible, and I'm smelling it constantly. Definitely one of my favorites. And I agree with her. Our jasmine is just so gorgeous. And that's another one of our rare oils that costs a lot. But we have a way that we work with aromatherapy to really enhance some of the more expensive oils. So even though we add a small amount of it to a blend, you can still really smell that oil coming through. So that's one of our little secrets of what we do when we're doing blending. Now, I'm going to switch my screen to my biofeedback because I wanted to show you guys. Now, how do I do that again? That was the way. I haven't done this for a while. I should have practiced this before I had you guys come on. Now, where is my button to, here, third screen. No, that wasn't it. Prevent sharing options. Okay, sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to figure this out. We haven't been doing videos for a while. My goodness. It was here, but there it is. Oh, there we go. Practice. Okay, so you guys can all see my computer screen, and this is the biopulsar biofeedback graph analysis that I use. Now, I'm just gonna hit the start button here for the clock so you can start to see the live biofeedback here. So hopefully you can see that on my screen. So this is my baseline reading, and I did this yesterday where I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna grab various therapy blends and use them and then see the differences between the different products that I was using. Now, the first product I grabbed was actually a red essence. In hindsight, I should have grabbed the Chi Energy, but I grabbed that later on. But I just wanted to sort of illustrate. And so we're just going to talk about it. So first and foremost, we see my aura has a lot of blues, greens, as well as a little bit of turquoise in there. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at the optimal energy of the organs. Now, some of my organs are a little bit stronger, some of them are a little bit weaker. And how it works for those of you who have never experienced this technology before, when we're seeing greens, blues, and turquoises, that's within the normal to optimal range. When we see colors, for example, here in the cerebellum, it's a lower frequency color. It's underneath the green vibration. And in fact, below green, we go green, yellow, orange, red, and then absence of energy is gray, versus on the other side, when we see blues, purples, you know, such as indigos, violets, those are high frequency colors. So right away the aura is showing that, you know, this red chakra blend just sort of neutralized my aura somewhat. There was a little bit more purple at the beginning. Now here I'm using the immune booster. So, and I'm just going to switch my screen here, and I'm going to show you more results at the end, but nonetheless, we can see that, that my thymus gland is pretty similar to what it was previous, but we can see that my aura has even gone a little bit more blue, other than in the chest area, it's gone a little bit of a higher vibration. So the immune booster is having a little bit of an effect on my respiratory system, which is rather interesting, but now it's starting to neutralize a bit more. Sometimes when we do a product testing, we can see an immediate reaction, and then it just sort of goes more stable. So when we see fluctuations, that's me moving my hand and testing the next product. But right now we're doing the immune booster. And when you have the organ biofeedback graph, you can see that I've titled it so I wouldn't forget what product I was testing, but here we can see that I'm testing the immune blend. Okay, so you can see that there's good stability, where earlier there was a little bit more jaggedness, and sometimes you have to just sort of analyze all the different organs and glands.
Hey, Suzanne, I saw yellow signal in small intestine. What was that? What does that mean?
So when you see a clock in an organ, it means that at the time that the recording was taken was the active time according to traditional Chinese medicine. Okay. Now, this was rather interesting to me. I want to just kind of move my cursor over here a bit so we can see this. This is the skin renew. And look at the stress that I'm seeing in the organs when I'm using the skin renew. I thought that was rather fascinating. And we can see that my spine turned gray. So when we're doing product testing, we can see that, you know, at that time that I was using this product, it wasn't a good product for me. Okay, because right away you can see the stress in the organs. We can see now even my aura is turning more yellow. So that's indicating that it's lowering my vibration. So when we're using different products, we have to find out why. Was there something in, you know, the properties of this aromatherapy mix that was not conducive to my energy, right? So one of the reasons why I love showing people these things is because obviously, you know, we want to make sure that products are you know, conducive to somebody's energy. So, you know, to me, obviously, I'm not going to be using Skin Renew on a daily basis, because maybe the vibration is a little bit too strong for me right now, and it's having that adverse effect, or it's just not the right vibration. Now, this is the headache blend I switched to, and right away you can see how my energy bounces back to more of the normal look as it did in the first scan. And this again is indicating that the product has a more, you know, soothing effect, or more powerful effect for me. And this was rather interesting because, and I have to show this to you afterwards, but you can see how it raised the vibration in my brain. And again, we were talking about how the headache blend had frankincense in there, which is a high vibratory oil. So I thought that was rather fascinating, that it really supported my body. And, you know, again, we can see that it, you know, going from the Skin Renew being less productive for me, that the headache blend was definitely more productive for me. And this is where, you know, when you're using a product, your intuition comes in, or if you're a biopulsar practitioner, then you can test products with clients to see what are the better products for the client. Now, of course, we've tested our products and we know that, you know, for 90% of the people, our products are productive. Now, the Skin Renew, for example, is good for skin repair. Maybe I don't need any more skin repair. I don't have that blotch or rosacea. I've got good skin. You know, so it might be something that my body just doesn't need. And then the final product that I was testing here, and I just have to scroll this down. or no, second to final, was the digest and detox, which again, we can see that my body is reacting a little bit negatively to. And earlier, before all of you checked in, this was interesting because yesterday I had diarrhea. And today my bowel movements are normal, but I thought this was rather interesting that my body reacted to the digest and detox because maybe it was too much of a stimulant for me. And we can see a lot of yellow coming in, which is that detoxification. So I may have not needed the digest and detox because I was drinking herbal teas. And so maybe the herbal teas was already enough for me that I didn't need the digest and detox. Interesting, eh? And you can see how my parameters are a lot more jumpy. That again is indicating the fact that this product is putting more stress on my body. Interesting, eh? Okay, and then the last product we're testing is the Chi Energy. So you'll see my energy going more back to a normal state of being. So that was definitely very conducive to my energy. Now, some of the things that I teach people, because I have all the therapy blends at home, so I use them based on, the issues that are on hand. So for example, I wouldn't have used the digest and detox because I was having the experience of diarrhea. I wouldn't have used it. It would have been too much for my system anyways. Whereas if I'm constipated, that's when the digest and detox would be a good product for me to use. And that's why I was sharing earlier, I love the digest and detox when I travel, or when, because when I travel, I know that this is an issue that I have is constipation. And then here we can see the Chi Energy. Right away, my body reacts and the greens are starting to come in. The yellows are converting to, more neutral colors, raising up in vibration. So we can see definitely a stimulation in a proactive way. And I love the fact that the greens are coming in because the greens are that nurturing, balancing energy. And my spine energy is going stronger. And again, because this is literally over, a span of maybe a minute, of course, if I run it a little bit longer, then we might see more indication of, the products. But nonetheless, I just wanted to show that biofeedback application of the bile pulsar. And so one of the things I wanted to roll into, and I'm just going to have to close this window, which is the pulsar. Just bear with me a second here, because now I've got to change my screen. Oh, maybe. Sorry. Because this bar is in my way, I'm trying to move it, and I can't move it. Oh, there we go. No, I don't know where I put it. I'm going to find it through the bile pulsar program. Just bear with me a second here. Oh, that's my research. That's why it disappeared. My Excel spreadsheet crashed, and then that's why it wasn't there. So I'm just going to hit next and open that up and show you the research. Okay, so I'm switching here. So now you can see my research. So with the bile pulsar, I can take that empirical data and put it into a spreadsheet. So what I did was, this was my baseline reading, and these were the different products that I tested. So you can see that the Skin Renew and the Digest and Detox actually lowered my vibration from my baseline reading. Now, I also highlighted my mouth because that is my constant where it's typically at a lower frequency. And because I broke my jaw, because I've smashed my 2 front teeth, I've had a lot of trauma in this area. So this is an area that is crooked, it is damaged. So that is one of the organs that I often have a low reading in because of the damage that's been done. So I have to take that out of the equation because obviously I'm not going to get, see any results other than the weakness that already exists there. But when you're doing biofeedback, you're taking the data, comparing it to the baseline, and then this way you can check the different products and see how they're affecting one's energy. Does that make sense? Okay, now I'm going to open this up to discussion here because obviously this is important to me that if anybody has any questions about this component to understand a little bit more about the biofeedback or the therapy blends, then we can have an open discussion about it. Okay, so you can see here that on this aspect, when I did the skin renew, sometimes what happens when you're doing product testing, once an organ goes lower, it sometimes can be challenging to get it back up. So we can see here with my hip, I couldn't get that reconnection after we lost it. So when we're using products, that's one of the things that we're looking at is how it's affecting the different organs. And with live biofeedback, this is something that's been fascinating to me, that even with a negative thought, if you do a positive thought and then monitor the energy, and then you have somebody think a negative thought, and then you can see how the energy goes down overall, and then you have them think a positive thought, it's often very challenging to change it from that negative energy flow back into a positive energy flow. So be aware of that when you're doing product testing, okay? Awesome. Okay, I'm not hearing any questions, so I'm just going to move along. Now,
Suzanne?
Yes.
The chakras that you have at the bottom, was that brought over into this the same way you did with the rest of the numbers for the auric fields?
Yes.
So when you click that that one box and you get the list and then you copy it, you hit OK, it includes the chakras?
Correct. So let me just go back to this. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever I'm looking at importing the Excel values, then all I do is click on whatever I want. So in this case, if I click on the chakra picture and then go to the Excel values, you'll see it grabs the chakra values. Okay.
Right. So then did you import them into the bottom of that Excel spreadsheet after you had done all the body parts?
Yes. So if I go back to my Excel spreadsheet, can you see my spreadsheet now?
Yes.
Okay. So then all I'm doing is taking my cursor to where I want that data, and I'm hitting Control V, and it automatically pastes my values in there.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I wanted clarity on.
Yeah. Oh, I did something wrong there.
Undo.
Undo, that's right. So, but that's what you would do. You would just paste the number values in there, and you just continue to add to it. Now, there's a few people that have joined us today, and just so you, if you want, you can stay on, but this concludes the aromatherapy aspect. I just wanted to show the biofeedback aspect of it, because for me, it's important that people understand that our body responds instantaneously to products. And when we're using products, we want to make sure it's conducive to our energy. And this is why it's important for people just to note their response to any products. Okay?
Suzanne, this is Bhushan.
Yes.
Now, I know how you copied the chakras. Do you have to go through all the 47 organs or whatever it is, 46 organs?
So when I click on the aura picture or the organ biofeedback graph and go to this button, which is called Excel Export, and click on it.
We can't see that right now.
Oh, sorry.
We're still on your Excel. It needs to have a save.
Got it. I need to switch again. Okay. So you can see that now?
Yes.
Okay.
How did you get here?
So I'm going to close this window. So this button here is Excel export. And when we click on there, it will open up the numerical values of either the organs or the chakras, depending on what window you're on.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, but because my, this was a recording, because my recording expired, that's why all the values are at 0. Okay.
How did you record this?
Okay, so Bhushan, what we're going to do now is we're going to move into, you know, just doing a basic analysis. Because Bhushan is a new owner. And so again, I'm just going to be going into some of the biopulsar dynamics. So anybody who's not interested in this component, as I mentioned, we've concluded the aromatherapy aspect of the course. So I thought I would just take this time because a lot of the people who joined us today are biopulsar owners. And so I'm just going to continue. So feel free to join and learn more about technology and auras and chakras, because that's what we're going to go into. So, but now we're going to move into another segment. So Bhushan, do you have your biopulsar up and running?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I can go to, hold on, this is where, let's see what we can do here. That screen share. So now, how do I get to?
You unshare your screen, Suzanne, and then he shares his screen.
Yeah, so this is where it is, share. Share. Okay, let's see. It just says new share. Okay. It's not doing what I want to do. Share
The first thing you need
computer.
to do is stop presenting.
Okay, that's easy for you to say, Bhushan. How do I do it?
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay, you are screen sharing. Oh, stop sharing. Okay, let's see. Here
There
we
you
go.
go.
Okay.
See, you're a wizard.
There you go. Okay, I'm learning this, so thank you guys for bearing with me. So, no.
Now you're back to your screen sharing again.
Yeah, I see that. Now, how the heck did that happen? Okay, now where did?
Bhushan has to share his screen from his end.
Right. So go back there, screen sharing. Oh yeah, here. That's where I got it. So.
You did that for a minute there.
No, and what? You know,
Stop sharing.
I always tell everybody, computers are only as smart as the user.
Okay, no comment there.
You know,
it's always user's fault, you know.
So I did.
All right. If you move your screen, if you move your mouse to the bottom, then you will see mute, stop screen, video, participants, chat, share screen, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You see that?
Not necessarily. Okay, because it says new share. I don't want new share. You are sharing your screen. I don't want to do new share because it takes me nowhere. So where did I find that? Okay, I'm going to go to more.
You just have to stop sharing your screen first, Suzanne. So there should be that.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Thanks, Jan. Okay, so share screen.
Not you.
Allow others to share their screen first.
Okay, one participate can share at a time. Okay. Okay, Bhushan, let's see if you can show your screen. Ah, there we go. Right on. Hey, we're all learning together. Isn't this awesome? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is open up your windows. So if you go to, can you see my screen, my icon there?
I'm
No,
sorry?
this is his screen.
Yeah. So take your icon and go to where it has those 9 little boxes in the upper left-hand corner.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And click on that. There you go. Now go 2 doors down to where it has the aura picture. No, where your icon was, go back to the 9. Yeah, that one there. Click on that. Okay. Now go 2 doors down to the chakra icon and click on that. Perfect. Now I want you to go to Windows, where it says the word Windows. Open that and go vertically. Okay. Poof. Now this is how I always arrange my screen, where I have the 3 window presentations up, and depending on how much or what software you have is indicative of what programs you're going to show. So in this case, Bhushan has the chakras, the aura, and the biofeedback graphs. Okay, so and that windows, go back to where it had the windows and just hover your, open up your scroll down window, and you can see it has overlapping. Click on overlapping. I don't like that, it's useless to me, but nonetheless, it allows you to have your windows open versus that one vertically also allows you to have your windows open. Now, beside each window and we'll use the center one, Bhushan, your aura display. Okay, so when you go to your center window, you'll notice, and you can click anywhere on the picture, and then that illustrates you're on that window. And then in the right-hand corner, you have the line, the maximize button, and the close button. We never want to close any of the windows. Whenever you're ready to close your biopulsar for the day, you just go to File and Exit. Okay, so you never want to close your windows. Where to maximize the screen, if you want to read the data, then you go to the middle button that's to the left of the red X. And I'm just going to have you do that, Bhushan. Yeah, and that maximizes your window. And then just be careful, because now in the, and I'm pointing, you guys can't see where I'm pointing, but you have 2 rows where you have an X at the top and an X that's the window. You don't want to close the top one, because that closes your biopulsar program. You want to just close the window. So just go back to the minimize. Perfect. So did you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so that's just one of the things to get familiar with, opening the window and closing it. But I just want to assure you, you never have to close any of your windows. All you want to do is maximize them and minimize them. Okay, you never have to close them. So Bhushan, if you want to put your hand on the system, and I'm just going to keep talking, but when you put the hand on the hand plate, and I'll just sort of show you the hand plate here. You want to line up your hand so it's fitting appropriately onto the hand sensor. So you want to make sure.
Hold on, I need to see your screen. Hold on. Okay.
Okay, when you talk, then can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as long as I'm talking, you'll see my screen there, because whoever talks, that's whose picture shows up. So you just want to make sure that your hand is covering all the sensors, and you'll notice from the side there that my fingers go past the cutout. The cutout is only for position. Rather, you want to make sure that the hand is properly covered. And in fact, if anything, I follow the hand where this goes. So when my hand is covering that, where that cutout is exactly where I've positioned my hand. Okay?
All right, I missed the whole thing because I can't figure out how to see you.
Okay, let's see if I can do something here.
All right, now I got you. Can you show
Okay.
that one, please?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get the person to, and I can't do it because you have your one hand on the hand plate. You take your other hand and put it on top. And so if I'm the client, I'm saying to the client, put your hand on the hand plate. I'm making sure that their hand is properly aligned. And then I put my hand on top and apply firm but not hard pressure. And the only reason why we're doing that is just to get a good stable contact. When people are nervous or they have jitters, then you will actually see the graph lines going quite erratic. So just by putting one hand on top of the other, it's almost like you're balancing the left and right hemispheres. So it just allows for more of a stability reading. Now, we lost your energy there, Bhushan. Is your hand still on the hand plate or did you take it off?
I took it off, and because I was trying to listen to you, I'm going to press it like you said.
Yeah, and then when I'm doing my own reading, one of the things you want to do is put your cursor on top of the clock. So when you're ready to stop the clock, then you're not fidgeting with your cursor perfectly. And then so then you put your hand on the system. And now typically we tell people, close your eyes. And I want you to look at the tip of your thumb and make sure your thumb is connecting to the tip of the hand plate. And the reason why I'm asking, if you look at right above the head, there's gray, that is the fingertip. So whenever you see gray there, make sure that the fingertip is properly placed on the hand plate where the sensor is touching the tip. Some people have more of a bend in their thumb, so you just have to make sure. And then sometimes I'll put where I move their hand, where their bottom of the palm is on their thumb, and then I get their hand to go on top. So their thumb doesn't move and we don't lose that contact, okay? So again, we lost the energy reading. So Bhushan.
Okay, I am trying to put, because my thumb is not straight, slightly bent.
Okay. And then if you have the graphs, you're waiting for that red measuring line to go about 1 inch or a couple centimeters long, because you want to make sure you have an accurate reading. Similarly, if you're just basing it on the auras of the chakra, what you're looking at is that the stability of the organ, or pardon me, the stability of the chakra percentages are roughly staying in the same range, or focus on one color. And usually I focus on the color that comes from above the head, and I look at that and, you know, try to ensure that the color is within the same range. So Bhushan, you're showing gray there. So at this point, I'm just going to have you freeze the sensor for a second here. So hit that clock and it highlights in green. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to miscellaneous and open up the scroll down window and see where it says options. I want you to click on that. And another window comes up. And because your screen is a little bit small, can you actually make your screen a little bit bigger for us?
Oh.
Okay. In the meantime, is it saying 1,000?
Yes.
Okay, turn it to 500. 500 is real time. So for any of you that has the biopulsar, I want you to turn that to 500. That is real time. If it's on 1,000, it takes longer to get the reading. So it's double real time. And there's reasons why you would expand it when you're doing the biofeedback testing. It is actually nice to have that lengthened, but the real time is the real time response, and that's 500 nanoseconds. So under miscellaneous options, turn it to 500 seconds, okay? Okay, so that'll move your reading a little bit faster, but nonetheless, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep it here. And the first thing I do is I go to the blue head once I have frozen it. So go to the blue head and I type in the client's file name. And the file name, I always do it in a way, so click on it. I do it in a way that is not indicating the person's full name in case for whatever reason, you know, and it could be something as simple as somebody stealing your computer, then they would have all your private files. So you want to have everything, you know, in a confidential way that doesn't indicate the client's name, because obviously that could be a breach of confidentiality. So rather than putting in the person's full name, what we do is we type the first 4 letters of their last name, followed by the first letter of their first name, and then followed by the date. Okay, Bhushan, if you can do that. And however you want to do the date, I shorten it to 6 numbers. So for example, we're in the 9th month, so I go 09, today is the 10th, followed by 10. And rather than typing 2020, obviously we're in the year 20. Okay, so it becomes 09, 10, 20. I do it.
Okay, so first 4 of the last name and first 2 of the first name.
No, only the first initial of the first name.
Okay.
I'm trying to make the file name 11 characters because they say 10 to 11 characters is the most you should have as a file name. However, my brother and sister have the same initial for their first name, so then I will do two letters for their first name, okay? And sometimes I'll get somebody, for example, that has the last name Lee. Well, that's only 3. So then I would take the Lee, L-E-E, and then the first 2 characters of their first name, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so then if I want to save this, which I always want to save it, I go to the little diskette, which is on the right-hand side of the green clock. And when you click on that, another window pops open. And what you want to do is you want to create files on your desktop that represent the work you're doing with the biopulsar. So one of my files is called biopulsar folder, or pardon me, biopulsar recording. So once I have that folder on the desktop called biopulsar recording, now any recordings that I save, I put in that folder. Okay. So now you're typing out the same file name. So you could even copy the file name when you're in that blue head format, copy it, and then you can paste it as your file name, and then you'll save it into your biopulsar recording. Okay, awesome, Bhushan. You're a great student because you're very computer literate. You did that nicely. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we have it saved and recorded, because trust me, sometimes you might accidentally hit the clock, lose the recording, and you have to go back and replay. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys now how to replay it. So what I want you to do, Bhushan, I want you to hit that green clock. And what's going to happen is you're going to lose your recording, because now you've activated the clock. And if you go to the new button, it will clear everything. So the new button is 2 doors down. Yep, and it actually says new. If you hover your icon on top of any of the shortcut buttons, it'll actually tell you what it says. So there you can see it's new. So when you hit new, it clears the screen. So again, you do not have to close your program down to take a new reading. You just have to clear it. And as soon as people remove their hand, it will clear it. However, if you hit new, it will totally clear everything off your screen. Okay, so to replay it, you go to the black arrow, which is a couple doors down from where we were, and that will replay the recording. So then all you have to do is click on top of the saved recording and hit open, and it will actually replay it right from the beginning. Okay. Perfect. Now, there is a shortcut to this as well. So I'm going to take you guys through that shortcut. So I want you to go back to the stop button, which is the square, and that will stop your recording. And go back to, or this time what I want you to do is go under data. And where it says with animation, I want you to deactivate that. So if I want to go back to recording, but I don't want to see the whole 1 or 2 minutes, by hitting that, it will actually just take you to the last second of time. So now I want you to go back to the black, yeah, that button there, and open it up, and you're going to see that what it does is it brings up the last second in time. So now we've bypassed replaying all the data. Okay, makes sense?
Yep.
And now what we're doing is we're just waiting for the replay to be terminated, meaning that now we've gone the full length of the recording. And again, if we're doing a live reading, then we're reading from that point of time. Now, when I'm doing a reading, I follow the same format, but readings can be broken down into chakra readings, aura readings, health readings, or what I call a holistic reading, which is all three. And so therefore, I'm just going to do a mini reading with Bhushan, so that way you guys get an appreciation. And one of the things that I was saying, if you guys want to do more readings, then what we can do is we could do live readings. I'm happy to read you guys. So in this, for today, we're going to do Bhushan because he's a new owner. So I thought that we can take him through some of the stuff.
Can I ask
sorry?
a question?
Sure, Jen.
So you know how you had when you're doing the class, you had on the top of the graph the description of what you were doing or what you were changing.
Yeah.
How did you put that up there?
Okay, so in that case, when we're doing live biofeedback, where we're doing consecutive readings, we go to the red button. That red button is called consecutive recordings, meaning I can take multiple recordings and it's going to show it one after another on the graphs. Okay, without hitting that button, then all you're seeing is the one recording.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. And so how do you put that together then?
Okay, well, we'll have to do another recording then to do that.
Okay.
So remind me at the end and we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so I might have to put my glasses on here because everything is so tiny on my screen. Okay. I
screen.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you go to the top row to the right and hit your maximize screen, I wonder if that will maximize it better.
I'm already maximized.
Really, eh? Okay, then there's nothing we can do. So you're going to have to be my eyes, and I'm going to write down things because, like I said, I can't read all that fine print. So we'll just do the best that we can.
Suzanne, what view do you have on your Zoom? It may be that you have it in gallery view.
Oh, well, that made sense there, Jan. What a hoot. Okay, it is better, but it is still tiny, but I think I can make it out. So if we go from top to bottom, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to write this down. The crown is 80. The brow is 82. What is the throat chakra there?
59.
Okay, and then heart is 50. And then the solar plexus is what, 55 or
56?
56. And then 46 and 42. Okay, I had to write that down just so I have it in front of me. So I'm going to take you through the 3 different readings, which in essence becomes that holistic whole reading. Okay. So we're going to start with the chakra analysis. When I'm doing events and I'm just doing intro sessions, then that chakra reading can be a 5 or 10 minute consultation. So Bhushan, you're my client, and I'm going to go right from exactly how I do a reading. I love the fact that this is live because then Bhushan can actually say, yes, you're right on, or, oh no, you're such a bad aura reader, go away. Okay. So I always explain I sometimes will ask people, do you know what the chakras are? And they'll say yes or no. And I'll say, okay, the chakras in a nutshell is an energy flow of your endocrine glands through your body. Medical doctors call them neural energy network centers. People who are metaphysicians will refer to them as chakras. So what we're doing is we're looking at the energy flow through your body. So the number value between 50 and 70 is the normal range. So you can see that your top chakras are higher than the normal range. And we can see that your lower chakras are lower than the normal range. And you are 100% whole the way that you are. So when you have some chakras that are stronger, where do you think they're getting their power from, Bhushan?
Because of my meditation.
But how you're getting the energy is the distribution. So the distribution is coming from your lower chakras.
Yeah.
Okay. And because you're a biopulsar owner, you're going to be able to see if this is constant within you, meaning, are you always top heavy and weaker on the lower chakras, or when you're in your groove of your day, does your chakras balance out more? Because yes, you have the energy of somebody who could meditate, but also just from our conversations, you're very spiritual minded. You're very tapped into that. And I'd like to just share with everyone, Bhushan has purchased the biopulsar to dedicate the last portion of his life to service work. So he has made that commitment to helping people on their spiritual journey or their journey of wellness. So that is somebody who's very dedicated to God. Okay, so of course we would see that, you know, by that high crown and brow chakra, because it's somebody who's working more on a humanitarian level. Okay, versus the sexual chakra and the root chakra have more to do about one's groundedness. And again, this tells me, Bhushan, that you're a person who has a lot of power in their brain. And because of that, you have to sometimes slow down and be more connected to planet Earth. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm sure you got the first-hand experience on that, but that's okay.
Yeah. And we can tell this because obviously when people are inquiring a lot, it's because they have a lot of questions. Their mind is very active. And I often will count the amount of colors that I see above the head. So if we look at the colors above your head, we see that light blue, we see white, we see an orange hue, we see the pink color, and we see some green coming in. That's 5 different colors. Did I catch them all? Blue, white, orange, magenta, and a green color coming in. So that's 5 different colors above the head. We can see your cerebellum is blue, your cerebrum is orange, your forehead, your temporal brain are white, your back brain is pink, back of head is white, forehead is pink, and your pineal gland is green. That is 5 colors above your head. That means out of the possible 8 combination colors of the brain, your brain is simultaneously thinking 5 different thoughts at once. That's a lot. So that is somebody whose brain is very active, going from one minute to the next. And I always laugh at Danielle in our office said, it's like a dog seeing a bird, and then it sees a squirrel, and then it sees food, and then it sees its master. The brain is all over the place simultaneously. Now, for Bhushan, this is his norm. When I see the crown and brow in the 80s, this is not just today. This is probably continual. This is where he puts a lot of focus. And so having that brain capacity where your brain is always full of different thoughts and ideas, again, we can see where the lower chakras are now, you know, unable to support your brain power. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And again, it's about where you put your emphasis. You're putting your emphasis more on your spirituality. You're putting more emphasis, you know, on your beliefs or, you know, your humanitarian issues than sometimes you might put on your physical reality. It's also a high inventing energy. When I see the brow in the 80s, that is the inventor. It's somebody who has a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, and combining it with the crown, which is, you know, a lot of inspiration, a lot of, you know, new ideas, you can see how your brain is quite full. Now, one of the things that we have to understand, and, you know, because you're in the 40s, I'll accept that. However, when I see people that have high brow and crown energy that is even in the higher 80s or in the 90s, and I see that their sexual and their root chakra are below 40, that causes me more concern because the number value is quite far apart. And if we take your highest, which is 82, and your lowest, which is 42, that's a 40-point spread difference. I'd like to see it within 20, because this then tells me that your chakras are working more in unison. And one of the things I want to assure you, Bhushan, is that to gain more spiritual insight, the more you focus on your lower chakras, the more power you will have in your brow and crown with support.
Okay.
Okay, because this tells me you will live a lot in your imagination.
How do I do that?
By bringing in red and orange tools. And this is why I love to teach about essential oils or gemstones or food or nutrition, because everything in the universe is color coded. So I would have you on a protocol of doing regular color baths, because when you're taking a half-hour color bath, your cells are receiving that vibration continuously. Jan put on her glasses, which is another way that you can bring it. Put them back on so Bhushan can see them, because I think he may have turned around.
I didn't see that. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you see Jan with her red glasses?
Yes, ma'am. I see Jan.
Yeah. So this is why we sell these different tools, because by even wearing the glasses for short amount of time, you're shifting the vibration within yourself to be more grounded, eating more protein, you know, or food that has substance, your root vegetables that will help ground your energy. Okay. Using the oils like juniper, sandalwood, ylang ylang, orange oil, mandarin. These are all the oils related to the orange or red vibration that will help balance your energy, because when you're in the brow, you're thinking about the past or the future. This is where your energy is. Okay.
I'm always being accused of saying that I am 10 to 20 years ahead of everybody.
Yeah. And these are the kind of comments you'll get back from people, because they understand that. Also, what I tend to say to people who have a lot of top high energy is there's your time and earth time, and you're running on 2 different time cycles.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means what you have to do is you sometimes have to get synced, because people will see you as unfocused. People will see you as ungrounded. People will see you as not paying attention to them. Okay, and it's because your brain is so quick, you are, but you're already ahead. And because you have a lot of psychic energy in your brow chakra, then this also tells me that before they've talked, you already get an impression of their energy. You already know the answers. You already know what's going on.
That's my trouble.
Yeah, but it's not. This is your gifts. And this is how I relate to wherever your chakras are strongest. Those are your gifts. Wherever your chakra is weakest, that's what you were not possibly taught. Because remember, this could be generational. This could be, you know, the experiences of your family. And of course, if we go into, you know, longer time, then we can get more to the root causes of things. But for example, I think you're a transplant, meaning, were you born outside of the States?
I'm sorry?
Where were you born?
I was born in a city in Hyderabad, in India.
Okay, so that's what I meant by transplant. My parents were immigrants to Canada, so I'm first generation Canadian, so I have stronger roots to Canada than my parents did. Okay, similarly, because you were raised in another country and then you immigrated to the States, you still may have some roots in India. And this is true of a lot of people, and it could be roots from even one city you were raised in the same country to another city. Okay, because whenever you're taking your roots up from one country and planting them to another country, you actually have to visualize that. And most people don't. They just pack their bags and go.
Now, the transplant, how did you come to that conclusion?
Because your root chakra is weak.
Okay.
And because I'm seeing you, then I understand that, and you have a bit of an accent, I can understand that you may not be an original American. Okay. And again, because of the fact, and I love this about the world, you know, the fact that we can move to other countries, like Nikolai's from Norway, you know, my parents, my mom's from Germany, my father's from the Ukraine. I love the fact that, you know, we have all this multiculturalism, because this is how we learn, you know, is through all these different beliefs and understandings and traditions. And, you know, I love that. But my point is, I know for my parents, even though, you know, they immigrated to Canada, they still had roots from their own country because that's where their family was. That's where they were raised. That's where they went to school. There's a lot of roots wherever you started. But now I want you to envision pulling up your roots and now bringing them to you where you are today.
Okay.
And feeling that safety and that security under you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I love visualizations because really that's what you want to do, is you want to bring those roots back to where you are, because otherwise you may never feel home where you are.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah. I tell you,
I
this
miss
is
my country.
natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm sure you still have a lot of ties there, you know, with family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can understand that there's different reasons why people may have a lower root chakra, but also we have to understand their gifts. And in Bhushan's case, you know, he is that visionary. He is that empath. That's where he has a lot of gifts. And I never want people to feel bad about their gifts, because those gifts came to you for a reason. But now it's learning how to balance everything. It's learning about that your root chakra and your sexual chakra are as equally as important, because the brow chakra is all about the future or the past. The sexual chakra is the power of the moment. It's living in the moment. It's your joy. It's your happiness. And because you have a strong brow chakra, this tells me that you can be more of an introvert versus an extrovert, right? Now you can also see Bhushan, he's already on to the next best thing, right? Which again is that mind power. And you will notice these things with people. Their eyes will start darting other places. They'll start to ask questions. You might see a little bit of excess energy by their movement. They might be tapping their feet or, you know, just fidgeting a lot. That would indicate somebody who's got a lot of power in their top chakras versus more groundedness. Okay. And again, I'm respectful of that fact. And this is why when I'm actually doing readings with people, sometimes I'll even speed up my words, because I know if I talk too slow, I'm on earth time. And in Bhushan's case, he's on space time. And indigo, just so you guys know, indigo has no perception of space and time. Okay. That's why a lot of people will astral fly when they have high indigo, because they have no perception of this existence. They can be on multiple existences. Okay, that's probably why you like meditating. Okay, so now moving into the aura, then we start talking about what we see. So the first thing I always say when it comes to reading the aura is, what a beautiful aura. Look at all these vibrant, you know, blues, and, you know, we're seeing greens and yellows and whites, all this phenomenal, beautiful colors. So I always like to flatter people on the vibrancy of their colors. And sometimes there might be less colors, and, you know, sometimes the colors can be a little bit tainted, or we might see, you know, more grays than color. So I just want people to understand they are beautiful. So I always start by saying, what a beautiful aura. Look at all these wonderful colors. And then I start talking about the colors in the head, and I will actually point to the picture and go, look at the colors in your brain. This tells me a lot about your personality, your mood, your, you know, how you think, how you emote, your beliefs. I see this all in your brain power. And you have a lot of high spiritual energy. You've got a lot of white combined with that electromagnetic blue. So this tells me you have a good, strong spiritual connectedness. That white is purity. So you're, I would say you're an optimist. Is that correct?
Eternal optimist.
Yeah, because again, that white is that high spiritual color. It sees a reason in everything. So things aren't negative. It's, you know, we could take it as more of a positive optimist. Now that blue energy is the color that is the relayer of spiritual knowledge. So for me, seeing that blue umbrella above your head, that is, you know, one of your missions here is to be able to express holistic thought. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember, you want to engage the client as much as possible. You want to have them confirm the energy. And because we're seeing all these different colors, you know, with the magenta and the orange, this tells me that you have a lot of thoughts going on simultaneously. So are you very quick with your thoughts? I'm even sure as I'm talking, your mind is going off in different directions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is typical, which, you know, again, I'm not taking any offense to it, just so you know. You just have a very quick mind. And again, I might repeat myself where I talk about the fact that, you know, there's earth time and your time. Your time is faster. Okay. Then I look at what goes on through the chakras. So we're seeing a lot of yellow in the feet. Oh, actually, I want to go back to the spine. So can you do me a favor and click on the spine so I can see what color your spine is? So you'll have to scroll down. Okay, so the spine is in that sort of electromagnetic turquoise color. And I can also see it in your picture, but because I'm looking at your picture, it's hard for me to point. But it's actually the second color in to the outside colors. And if you put your cursor anywhere on the picture, it will actually tell you what organ you're on. So just click anywhere. Okay, so now you can see that another part of the body, and in this case, the pancreas is highlighted. But I want you to click on to the second color that's in the outside of your aura. So you have sort of that turquoise blue that's on the outside, and then right there, perfect. So that reflects the spinal energy. We want to see the spine in that green, turquoise, or blue color, because that is the optimal color range. And we can see that the vitality scale is 7. Now, if you go to the number values, which is that export XL button, which is 1, 2, 3 over from the blue head. Nope, other way. Yeah, that one. Oh, you were on it. Next, one more over, one more the other way. One, no, other way, other way. There. Oh, one more to the left. Oh, you're going the wrong way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, XL export. Get familiar with that button. That's an important button. Now, if you scroll down to the spine, you'll get the exact number. Okay, keep going down because the spine will be at the end. So 6.54. So what AuraMed has done is it automatically rolls it up or rolls it down depending on the number value. So we can see that the spine is 7, but it's actually at a more optimal level, which is 6.56. 6.5 is the optimal state of harmony in any organ or part of the brain. Now, when something is in excess or deficiency stage, then again, we have to look at the color and the relationship to the organ to decipher more data. But this is good. Just so you know, Bhushan, your spine is in optimal energy. So you can close that window.
Okay, how do I export this to Excel?
Just by hitting OK. It's like a copy button. Okay, and then if you go to the button that is to the right-hand side of the blue head, right-hand side of the blue head, yeah, right there, click on there. It's a start program. Now, I'm not going to go into this right this moment, but you can actually bring in your Excel program through that button, so you don't have to open Excel independently by going out of the BioPulsar program. You can actually link it, and that's in your technical manual.
Okay.
Instructions on how to do that. And then you just open up your Excel spreadsheet, but I don't want you to do that right now. And then you would just import the numbers in there, and then you can start correlating your data over time. So you start to see what your norms are. And this is important for all of you guys to do. I have been mapping my energy for 20 years now, and my mouth has always been 0.35. Sometimes, I get it up to 0.39. I've even added at 0.46 or somewhere in there. And occasionally I've seen it go into the normal range whenever I've done some really deep healing. Okay, but because I still haven't figured out all the patterns, the programming, then it tends to slide back down. And this is really important because we're like layers of an onion. So wherever we have constant deficiencies, that means it's not just one program, it's multiple programs, or you haven't broken the habit. Okay, and that's really important. Okay, Bhushan, you're ahead of me again. Okay, now how can I read your energy when you're changing it on me?
Okay, How do I do that? Okay, I need to go back.
See how he is with his upper chakras? Isn't this hilarious? But this is the nature of the energy flow. And again, there is no right or wrong. I want to share that with you. There is no right or wrong. It just is. And that's what I love, because for me, my solar plexus and my crown are my strength. Okay? I do not want to give that up, because that is who I am. That is your gifts. My challenge is my throat chakra. That is my weakest chakra. So after a while, Bhushan, you're going to see how you can, your energy is constantly working, and then you'll understand more so why that red and that orange are going to be important for you. Okay? Just as for me, using the blue energy is important for me, because right now I can feel the stress in my throat chakra. I can feel it because I've been talking now for 2 hours.
So the optimal, if I heard you correct, is between 50 to 70, correct?
In a chakra, and in the organ, we're looking between 5 and 7. Okay? The lower the number, the more deficient the energy. The higher the number, the more excess. Now, in the brain, you can house higher vibrations. So when I see 9s and 10s in the brain, again, that relates more so that the higher chakras are stronger. Does that make sense? And it's about energy distribution. So if one chakra is high, that means another one's going to be low. The higher a chakra is, the lower the chakra another one is. But there's also the normal vibration of a person. Some people vibrate at a lower level. Some people vibrate at a higher level. And that can also be reflected in their constitution. So when I see people, for example, that are obese, I guarantee you that a lot of their chakra values are going to be weak. Unless they're psychic, then you're going to see a lot of purple in their aura, which will represent that psychic energy. Because a lot of psychics will pad themselves with excess weight of protection. But you don't need to pad yourself if you're in your lower chakras. Your root chakra is ultimately your final protection around your physical body. So that is really important when you run on psychic energy, because otherwise, as an empath, Bhushan, what could happen is that when people are sad, you get sad. Okay, that's when you know your psychic energy is out of control, when you start picking up on their energy so much. Okay, and that is the curse of the indigo, of the brow chakra being in excess. They become very empathetic. And I was talking to somebody earlier that basically can't even watch TV or the news because they're too empathetic.
And that means the brow chakra is...
The brow chakra is too high. But that also means that the root or the sexual chakra are not supporting the upper chakras. You always have to look at the lowest and then up, because the sexual chakra, or the sacral center, either or, is connected to your astral level. And again, that's the next layer in, that your emotional layer. And so therefore, if that's also weak, then that is close to your physical body. So then your physical body is going to be weak in its water management system. Okay? So that's when we start going into the related, causes of what can be causing, the chakras to be weak. So if we actually look at your root chakra, we can see that the bladder is weak. Okay, and the average of the lower area is weak. So the last box is also weak. Now scroll down your window so I can see all the colors on your organs at the bottom there. So you can see the average is yellow, and then you can see your feet are yellow, right? And your bladder is orange. So that's pulling down your root chakra. Now, and this is a conversation that Brian and I had just recently, right, in emails. Now, one of the things that we have to understand is what constitutes a chakra flow is the 4 quadrants of our energy. The 4 quadrants are the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Now, because we're measuring the physical, that is one component or one section, one part of that chakra flow. But there is more behind the recipe of the data than what we see, because we also understand that when we're seeing, you know, the emotions or the mentality come into the root chakra, it's going to pull the energy down. So that's going to create an imbalance of the emotions, of the mind, as well as the spiritual component. And that you can't see as a mathematical equation, but you will see it reflected in the chakra flow. You won't see it reflected in the organ health, because the organ health is reflecting the physicality of it. But on an auric level, then, you know, people who are clairvoyant that see the spinning chakras will actually see more of that dysfunction. Okay? So that being said, you know, we're seeing that your feet and the average area of your legs are in yellow. So this tells me that, you know, sometimes you get stuck in moving forward because you overanalyze things. Yellow is overanalyzing. Does that make sense?
Okay. Now, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is a book that tells that yellow means overanalyzing and that kind of stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is also where you have to bring in your intuition, because if I were to say, okay, why is he ungrounded? Then we have to look at the colors that are in the lower extremities that relate to that root chakra. Plus, there's also a portion of the brain that goes into this, because every organ is attached to a part of the brain. So if we see that your cerebellum is weak, that could also be some of the recipe that's going into the lower root chakra. Okay? And again, that's not my field of expertise, is, you know, what part of the brain governs, you know, the different organs. But I know that there is some correlation in the text material. But, you know, not all of that is divulged, because of, again, that was, you know, part of the development of the system. So nonetheless, we see that your feet and your average area is in yellow. Yellow is the mind. And when we see so much yellow in the legs, then we know that you're overanalyzing things, and that will prevent you from moving forward. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, we see a little bit of something going on in your sexual organs, which is that yellow and orange energy. So because sometimes you live in your head, then you might deny yourself on that level. Would that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I've learned, is when people have a lot of high energy in their upper chakras, sex isn't very important to them in a lot of cases. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so then we look at the chest, and we can see that there is some lower energy. When we look at the lung is gray. So that is about the intake of life. So sometimes, because you live too much in your head and not in the present moment, then that could be indicating that you're not fully feeling life through your lung capacity. This is all related to the heart chakra. This is about relationships, about family. And again, because, you know, maybe you're missing some of your family, that could have some effect on what's going on in your heart center. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, when we go into the physicality of things, then I'm looking at, there is stress on the heart. The heart is overexcited, but the lungs are underexcited. That is a conflict when you have one organ that's high and another one that's low within a chakra. There's a struggle going on. So then we have to start looking at why. Now, this is where you might have to focus on some breath work, you know, making sure that the breath is coming into your chest, first through your belly and then through your diaphragm into your chest. A lot of people are shallow breathers, and especially you have a high brow chakra. Sometimes do you find you get a little bit anxious, or you tend to worry too much?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's my answer. So you can understand how that can have a conflict with your breathing. So whenever you feel any anxiousness or worry, you want to, again, breathe into your belly, push that up to your chest. And I had a music teacher that taught me, when you put your hands on the back side of your rib cage and you actually breathe through your belly and up into your chest, you'll actually feel that area expand when you do it correctly. And there is an article I wrote on breath work, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. I'm going to make a note here. I write a lot of articles, and they're all available to you, but the problem is, unless you know why I wrote the article, you might not understand how to use it. So whenever I see that somebody has a problem in the heart chakra, then breath work is one area I have them focus on. Okay.
Where can I read those articles?
Well, I'm going to send the article on breathwork out to you all. And this is going to be part of the advanced training programs that I'm developing, going more into some of the psychosomatics of the different organs and then what we can do to help heal them. Okay. So, you know, just in a nutshell, we know that that's where we want to focus, because out of all the organs, and this is where you can run through all the colors of the organs. So go back, scroll your window back to the top on the aura picture display. Okay, and then just go down. So we see the lungs are gray. Are there any other organs that show gray? I don't think so. No. So we know that that's where we want to focus. We want to focus on that physically, as well as we want to focus on that energetically. So the lungs are about your intake in life. So, you know, for some reason, that's where you're denying yourself. And that could be that family connection, is that, you know, when you're not surrounded by family and friends, then you may not feel complete. Would that make sense? Yeah. So now you have to learn how to feel complete without your family and friends being around, which is just, you know, making sure that you're enjoying yourself. But this is where the conflict comes in with the brow chakra being so high, because you start to avoid your own feelings and emotions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to nutrition, I'd be putting you on some nutritional protocols, and I'll send you information on that, Bhushan, just for yourself. But, you know, there are formulas that are out there made by companies that will support the respiratory system. And because I'm not a nutritionist by any means, I'm not a naturopath, I don't have training in that, I rely on what other companies share with me as to what would be, you know, a good protocol. And if anybody wants to learn about that, Life Plus has a lung formula. So I'll send you information on that, Bhushan. Now, on a, you know, emotional, mental, and spiritual level, and I didn't bring my book, but it's in your training manual. There's a whole page on the lungs that also equates to different questions. So part of your homework, Bhushan, and, you know, again, because we're limited here today, I would have that in front of me, and I would go through these questions with you to see how you identify with these different descriptions. And then I would help you make an affirmation that you can recite every day. So a simple affirmation just based on our short conversation here would be along the lines of, I breathe life in, I feel life, I am alive. Okay, that could be a really nice affirmation for you. So that way you're not, you know, neglecting yourself with your own self-love and honoring yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, then, you know, like I said, there's more conversation we can have on the lungs, but I'm going to shorten this call today because this was an extension anyway. So I'm not going to shorten the call. I'm just going to say,
and
okay.
Your throat is hurting you.
Yeah, it's getting a little tired.
Therapy.
Yeah, and I've been working since 7 a.m. So we're now after 5. So I think I've put in my time for the day, but I can feel it being a little bit
I don't
slow.
want to bog down everybody on this call. Can you call me very briefly for a minute or two after this call, after you settle down?
No, because I actually have to leave the office. So if there's a quick question you want to ask now and you don't mind asking with everybody, these guys love it. They love to learn. So whatever questions you have, they're going to learn something from it.
Okay. I saw your aromatherapy stuff. What do I need to get it? Obviously, I need some of those colors and everything. And Jan told me I need red color glasses too. So
yeah.
How can I order it?
So the immune booster would be really good because that can actually support your respiratory system, or any green tools, like pine oil or anything like that. Because your thymus was a little weak, that's one of the reasons why I went right to the immune booster, because in there we do have the oils of like eucalyptus in there. So there's a lot of beautiful green oils as well
I need
as
to
the
tell you
blue in there.
something quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I got shingles on my right arm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what shingles means.
Sure do.
Okay. So obviously you get shingles because either your stress or your immunity is low.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
So this is where, again, at the end of your day, just do some breaths, but visualize you're nurturing yourself, okay? And then again, if you use aromatherapy as part of your day, then during the day, you're going to be applying these things. You can lather it right on your chest. So for example, the immune booster, just so you guys know, I always do a little bit of the immune booster around my nose. This is where I get congested. So I'll roll it on, right? I will roll it on my whole throat area, and then I'll roll it right onto my chest. I use a lot of essential oils because, again, I want to make sure that I'm always strong. And to me, the immune system is really important. So the immune booster is my favorite. And it's something I actually give away as a lot of gifts, especially right now with this whole COVID stuff going on. There's a lot of people that live in fear. And to me, I tell everyone, as long as your immunity is strong, you don't have to live in fear. Seriously, because when you feel confident that your immune system is strong, your immune system is your protection. If you feel strong in your protection, do you think you're going to worry about these things? No. You're not. But when you feel that your immunity, your protection is compromised, you're not going to feel safe. And that also has a lot to do with the root chakra, because the root chakra is your survival energy. So if you're not feeling strong in that survival energy, then you will feel that, hey, I'm going to get sick. I'm, if I get sick, I could die, and this is what I hear from people is, oh, I'm too scared because if I get COVID, I could die because people are dying of COVID. Honestly, if your root chakra is strong, your immune system is strong, you're not going to worry about this, because your root chakra is saying, you know what? I can get hit with anything. I will survive. It is the survival energy.
I won't take any further time. Call me tomorrow because I got to place a huge order on aromas, essential oils. And I think one more thing, I'll write it down, but call me tomorrow whenever you get into work.
Okay, will do. And then I did conduct a poll just, again, I can see essence therapy. Ooh, that's a winner. Okay, so how I'm kind of thinking of structuring the future, because I found I can't do two video meetings a week. It's just a little bit too much for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one a week, and I'm going to focus either on the biopulsar or color energy. So every second week it will be biopulsar, and in between those weeks it will be things to do with color energy. So I'm quite excited about that, because a lot of this will tie into the biopulsar anyways, because to me, everything is, part and parcel here. It's all one. The more you guys understand about color tools, how it will support your energy, the more powerful it is. And, I want to just share one quick story. I had a client recently whose root chakra was in the 20s when she first started. And every month she came to see me, and she could see her root chakra getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then it got into the 50s, and I'm there, how are you feeling? And she's there, Suzanne, I feel great. I'm just feeling on the top of the world. Fantastic. Month goes by, she comes in to see me. Her root chakra is back down into the 20s. And I said, what's going on here? And she went, Suzanne, I stopped doing everything. I stopped doing my oils. I stopped doing my affirmations. I stopped doing everything you had taught me. And I said, how do you feel? She goes, I feel shitty. Okay. And I said, so what are you going to do now? She goes, I'm going to get back on top of my red protocols. I'm going to start doing my red again. And she understood. And one of the things that stuck out in her mind, red is the densest and slowest energy. It's like moving a mountain. And she now understood what I meant by that. You have to keep working on an energy until it sticks. And it could take months or years before it will stick, because remember, it's like peeling off onions. It's usually just not one issue. Underneath, there's many issues. Because if somebody, and again, I'm just going to throw something out there. If somebody called you stupid, and then somebody else called you stupid, and then somebody else called you stupid. That's a lot of stupidity that's been put on you. And it's the way people say it and how they say it that creates these different programs of layering. So sometimes it's the energy behind it that you have to get rid of and resolve. So there's a lot behind clearing energy. We think about it in this way, for every year that we've had a problem, it says it takes 1 month to reverse it. And this is true both physically and energetically. So if we've had an issue for 30 or 40 years, and I actually joke in classes, I say we screw up our energy for 40 years, and it's when we get in our 40s, we start to get a bit more brilliant and realize that everything we did for the first 40 years probably was not always most conducive to our energy. And then we spend the back end of our life unscrewing everything that we screwed up. Okay, so we have to understand, we have to be patient and know that if we spent 40 years screwing up something, building up these layers, that it may take us a few years to get to that level. And this is why I love the biopulsar, because it'll keep showing us. It'll keep showing us where we need to focus, because you know what? Not every day is my throat weak. Okay, I've built it up. My mouth overall is weak, but my throat chakra is probably 20% stronger than it was when I first started out on the biopulsar. That's huge, where my throat was constantly 23, 25%, and being able to document it. And it took me years to get it, actually several months to get it into the 50s, to stick in the 50s. But whenever I start talking too much, then right away it starts going down. So I know that, you know, there's a level that I need to kind of quiet my voice. So after this, I'm actually going to practice a little bit of quietness, give my throat a break, lather it with love. And honestly, this is what I do when I go home at the end of the day. I go, Susie, just so you know, you guys can call me Susie. That's the name I was raised on. Susie, you know what? You're teaching people things, and you're teaching good things. So I'm so proud of you. Thank you for, you know, allowing your voice to project all this awesomeness, because we often beat ourselves up about what we don't like about ourselves. And sometimes what we don't like is inherited things, because we can't control that. Right? And so there's all these things that sometimes we don't like about ourselves, but it's now the time we have to start loving every inch of ourselves and saying, you know what, it's okay. I'm an indigo person, and that indigo has that tendency of, you know, going into worry and doubt. But you know what, red energy, I'm bringing you in to help support that worry and doubt, because when we're in that strong adrenal force, when we're in that strong red energy, nothing that happens will kick us over, because you know what, indigo, we know you live in that imagination. We know you're going to make up stories, but root chakra, you're stronger. You're stronger than this, you know, negative indigo energy when that negative gets on that side, you know. And you got to do that self chatter. For me, it's, you know, it's my throat chakra, and also my emotions. My sexual chakra is also an area I have to be careful of, because I'm so yellow, so violet, that sometimes I forget to connect to my emotions. So I have to give myself permission to feel, you know. And so I say, you know, okay, sacral center, you know what, we're going to cry. It's okay. And now I cry. I allow myself to release. So it's giving ourselves to have permission to do the things that maybe we thought were negative. Or, you know what, we're human, right? We're human. We have these silly thoughts. And sometimes I tell people it's like we've got the angel and the devil on our shoulders. And sometimes that little voice gets a little bit out of control, and we just have to slap it or hit it off, you know, and say, go away. Go away. I'm bringing up the right energy to counterbalance that. So I'll say, green energy, I need you to come in, because we need to be more loving or compassionate. Okay, orange energy, we got to be more social. We got to be more feeling. So I talk to my different energies, and I give myself permission to tap into the ones that I'm not as comfortable with. And I also talk a lot to my yellow, because my yellow will, you know, that ego, boy, I tell you, it gets critical, self-critical, and, you know, self-condescending and critical of others. And I go, yellow, come on. You know what? You're just being a little out of control. We're going to bring in the green. We're going to feel what other people feel. We're going to be more sensitive. So it's about having that self-dialogue too. Okay. Wow, I ended up talking again. Okay, any questions? Okay, I love you guys. Be awesome, be bright, talk to yourself, give yourselves a lot of self-love. And next, because today's Thursday, so next Tuesday, I have this whole thing on the Dragonfly Spirit Box. That's a whole other world. That's an esoteric tool that we have. So I'm doing a class on that. So that's next Tuesday. And then the following Thursday, we're going to do something on the biopulsar. I'll put something together based on the past polls. I'll let you know what that's going to be encompassing. Other than that, we'll see you guys soon.
So you're going to do Tuesday next week and the following week Thursday.
Correct.
And is that going to be the way it switches off, a Tuesday one week and a Thursday the next?
Yeah. And if something comes up, I might slide it in there as well. Okay. And going back to the Thursdays, I'm so open to, if, you know, one of you guys wants to put your heart on your sleeve, and, you know, I'll do a reading for you. And, you know, just like Bhushan today, I thank you, Bhushan. That was very kind of you to allow me to ask you questions, and thank you for opening up to everybody. But that's what I want to do. I want to do live sessions because I think that will teach you better than a static picture.
Thank you so much.
Any volunteers, just send me an email, and then I'll just pick names from a hat, and you'll be the chosen one. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Love you all.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Then talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.